Welcome to an episode of Founder in the Chair. Today I have a guest who went from being a banker to being a pop star. You really do want to hear this story. I mean, how many bankers do you know that would leave their career to do this? Especially in the South Asian community where, everyone loves to say, my son or my daughter works in a bank, right? The singer I'm about to introduce has had 6 #1 singles in the UK Asian charts. He's broken a Guinness World Record with his music. He's performed for King Charles and the Queen of England, as well as the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And today he is with me in the Founder's Chair. So I'm super excited to announce that I have the one and only Navin Kundra with me. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And it's great to be here in the Founder's Chair.
Thank you
feel
for coming.
Like a founder now.
You are well and truly a founder. So tell me, how did you make the transition from a career in finance, working in a bank, to a career in music?
Wow, we're going straight in.
We are.
Straight in. Okay. So I was really good at school, really studious, 11 A stars,
Wow.
my GCSEs, like a real kind of geek, if you like. And but I just had this thing for music. I loved music from a young age, and my parents always encouraged that passion. But the one thing they said to me was, the entertainment industry is really volatile.
Yeah.
It's not a normal, it's not a simple, straightforward trodden path.
Yes.
So, just make sure you have your education behind you, make sure you have something to fall back on. And I think in any creative kind of role, you never really start earning money straight away.
Yeah, of course.
So whereas with something else, you do. And so when I went to university, I did a degree in business and psychology. And straight out of university, I landed a management trainee scheme with a big bank, HSBC.
Right.
And so that's how I landed my career in finance. But all the while, I was kind of writing songs and making music, and MySpace had just come out at the time, which was this new social media thing.
You're showing your age now.
I know.
MySpace.
I know. Yeah, it was like the TikTok back then, it was that cutting edge. And so, I made a few songs, put them up on there. They started to become popular. Tried to get them sent out to radio, and no one wanted to listen, because no one wants to listen to you when they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You don't belong to this family. You're not some nephew of some famous star or whatever. You're not signed to a label. And so I was making my money in finance, and the management trainee scheme is really fun because you end up rotating between every sector of the bank. That's customer facing, that's out in the branch, that's also back office, that's kind of head office. And as I started to release music and become popular, one of my songs went to #1 a year after I debuted it. That was a Punjabi song called Tukre Tukre.
Wow.
And then I started to get fans, and people started to recognize me because I was appearing on TV.
Okay.
And so I really was like moonlighting. I was like a banker by day and a rocker by night.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where like I was working at a branch in Birmingham, between Birmingham and Leamington Spa. And I started working in a New Street branch in Birmingham, which is a very popular branch. There's a lot of Asians in that area.
Okay.
They would come in and they'd be like, you Navin Kundra, like, you're going to do my business banking right now. Like, you that singer, right? And so I tried to keep it hush-hush for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because I was embarrassed. I don't know why. Like, I should have been proud that was something I was doing on the side as well. That was my hustle.
Yeah.
But I was embarrassed for the fact that I wouldn't see any of the singers and artists I look up to in
Working
my
in a
local bank.
Yeah.
It's just not the done thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a bit embarrassing. When they recognized me, I would be like, I was unsure whether to say, yes, it's me, or no. And that was the first time I kind of realized, right, I have a real identity thing going on here, and I have a real responsibility. So yeah, I was like, yes, it's me. And then before you know it, like, before the bank is due to open, there's like a group of girls outside. My managers, they don't know that I'm doing this on the side.
Okay.
So they're like, Navin, what's going on? There's all these girls outside, they're all asking for you. Like, well, time to come clean. It just got a little out of hand. So then the management were like, right, we need to move Navin back office because it's unsafe and this is a bank. We're running a business here. This isn't
yeah.
like, you know, yeah. So I moved back office and I did really well there. And then I got promoted to head office, and I had a really, you know, like I was this young kid who kind of went from living and working in Coventry to then out in Canary Wharf in head office. Like it just opens you up to a whole new world.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but I hated getting up super early in the mornings, knowing that my time between this hour and this hour is all dedicated to this thing, which the only real thing that I enjoyed out of it was being paid at the end of it. Right. If I'm honest, I enjoyed learning about finance, learning about the business, learning about work, meeting people. The people I worked with were lovely, but actually it was not really fulfilling me fully. So I was making music on the side, and that was totally fulfilling me, but not really making me money.
Yeah.
And then I remember about a year or so into working, I had been booked for a show where I earned my salary in an hour of singing. And I was like, that takes me a month of every day to do that. And I could just go and sing for an hour and make the same.
Yeah.
I need to be doing that. That's
Absolutely.
what I really want to be doing.
Yeah.
And, but that was a one-off. And then, you know, to get that consistent, a few more songs came out, became a little more popular. And then, yeah, I just had to make the jump. And how I made the jump is another story as well, but I don't know how much time we have here.
Go on, tell us.
Do you want to know?
Yes, tell us.
So basically, I was booked to headline a festival out in Canada, which is crazy because I'd never been to Canada before. I didn't know people were listening to my music out there.
Wow.
The internet and, you know, the social media apps and all that stuff really changed the game, because all of a sudden, you know, you don't have to have a record label to have your music being heard worldwide.
Yeah.
And now Spotify's changed that even further, right? So that was magical. But what happened was I finished work on a Friday. I went to the airport, got changed, flew out to Canada, landed on a Saturday, did the gig on Saturday evening, flew back on Sunday, landed Monday morning, got changed at the toilets in the airport, and went straight into the office. And I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore physically. But I couldn't, I was really struggling with letting go of a stable income and a career which has a lot of respect. You know, you're in finance, that has all of the...
Work in a bank.
Yeah, you work in a bank. My son works in a bank. He's not a doctor, an accountant. He's in finance, you know. Like that was a big thing. And I really struggled to let go of it until a round of redundancies were announced. And I was like, wow, okay, this is... And if you've ever faced redundancy, certainly within finance, it's really grim. Like it's one of those things where you get called into a room and they tell you your fate. Are you in or are you out? And I went into the room and I was like, okay, here we go. This, you know, just do it for me because I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And you like literally put the gun down.
Yeah.
And I was okay. And I was like, what? So I still have a job? Yeah. You're good. You're free to go.
Oh, no.
Great. Okay. But my boss, or my line manager, I should say, not my boss, my line manager, who was just a little bit older than me. He went in and he came out and I was like, how'd it go? And he's like, I'm gone. I was like, what? How can that be? And it's a young guy. He just got married. He's just had like kids and he's got a home and a family. And I was just like, that doesn't feel right. It's mad. So I went straight back into that room and I said, look, this guy, like, he has a family. He has like, this is everything to him. I've got something else that I've got going on. And so if you please change your decision.
Swap you both over.
Swap us over and, we'll be good. And that single meeting and that single decision changed the whole course of my life.
And they did. They swapped.
They did, yeah. They swapped it over. They took it to review. It took a little bit of time, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's cool." I never told that guy that's what happened.
Oh wow!
And now I just I look at it and I say that was a real pivotal moment in my life, because to leave the stability of a role that is serving you in so many ways, to go and do something that has no security or stability, and you don't know if it's going to serve you, but you know that there's something inside you that you just need to get it out. It was just being able to let go of that stuff that's holding me back and just kind of.
And also what you did for that other colleague.
That
was special for him as well.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I don't know how it worked out for him, but I just, sometimes you look around you and you say, this person needs this more than I do.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've now left the bank.
I've left the bank.
And then what did you do?
And then I just started making music. You know, I carried on making. I was already making music. I'd already had a few songs out. Tukre Tukre, Main Tere Naal, Khali Dil, Love Thing. These are all like songs that now people probably didn't even know, because some people only discovered me after my biggest song, which was Tere Liye, which is a love song. But I didn't realize I had like all these songs that I released before then. So if you haven't heard them, you can go onto Spotify, you can go online and check them out. Because the back catalogue is probably the music that I'm most proud of. It's like your first songs, like you've had a lifetime to kind of come up with those.
Yeah.
And thereafter you've got to sustain a career, right?
Yeah.
And I just started making music. I was free. I wanted a manager. I was looking for a music manager to help take my career to another level. And I'd always admired this artist, Raghav. Raghav and Jay Sean were the two guys that were really killing it in the scene at that time and broke and crossed over to mainstream. So I was like, wow, it's possible. You know, like when I'm saying I want to do music, all of a sudden I've got two reference points. I can say, like, those guys are doing it. Like, this is possible, you know? And so I'd got in touch with, I knew that Rishi Rich was behind Jay Sean. I knew that Navin Kundra was behind Raghav. And I ended up, I entered this competition with the BBC Asian Network, and it was a talent search called Unsung. And the reason I did that was because the judges were Rishi Rich, Navin Kundra, you know, Mona Singh was there, like Adil Ray. Like it was just a dream team of people that I really wanted to see what I could do. I really wanted to show them what I could do. And I went up there and I sang I sang Robbie Williams's Feel. Because that's the kind of music. I was growing up here. You listen to a mixture of both, and I did Feel with a bit of an Indian twist, and I won the competition that night. That was at the Symphony Hall, and it was mad because in the audience there was like Sukhshinder Shindar was there, Jazzy B was there, Gurdas Manji was there, like all these stalwart figures from the industry. Jenny Singhji was there, and I was just like, oh my God. But none of that mattered because I just wanted to sing. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And so that's where I connected with Nairan and stayed in touch. I stayed in touch with all of them. Luckily, I've worked with all of those judges now, which is really lovely. And I think it took a couple of years for Nairan to agree to manage me. You know, he made me work for it, which I think is really nice. Because it just meant that I had to work harder and harder and develop. And that's the piece that people don't see, that an artist is, you can have an artist that's born, but they need to develop. They need to nurture themselves. They need to hone their craft to get to a point where they're ready to then take the career to the next level. That's when you really need a manager, when you can't handle things by yourself anymore. And that's what happened.
So at this point, you've got quite a few songs under your belt. What's your favourite?
Oh my God. That's like saying, who's your favourite kid? Your favourite baby?
Who's your favourite child? Yeah, we don't ask that question.
It's a difficult one because they all come from a really like personal place. And I usually write about stuff that I've been through or that people close to me have been through. And so it's not like I can just walk into the studio one day and just be like, yeah, let's make a dance song. Let's make a dance record. It's like something that's happened. And
feelings.
They're real. So it's difficult for me to say what my favorite is. I can tell you that I get a massive reaction when I go out and perform Shudai or Mehbooba. Tere Liye is always going to be that song that everyone sings along to. You know, I don't know what it is in that track because I wrote it super quick. It was made very fast, but it captured something which I think really connects with people. I wish I knew what it was because I could just do that every time. You know, everything would be good. But I think my favorite song is probably yet to be written.
Okay.
I've got something which I just walked out of the studio with last week that I'm really, really excited about.
Okay.
I think that's my favourite.
And we haven't heard it yet.
And you haven't heard it yet. But you will do very, very soon.
Okay. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, and my new single, oh my God, it's my newest baby. You know, and you it's just everything to me. And we'll talk about that, but I'm really excited about that as well.
Nice. So, what made you start producing your own live concerts, namely Voice of Legends?
Yeah, Voice of Legends. Well, I looked around in the scene and I was like, why is it that all the good shows and all the good concerts, they all go to artists that are from abroad? Like, you would never have one of the big concert promoters book local talent here. Like, I was like, okay, let me look at the gigs that I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of private stuff, a lot of private weddings, a lot of private parties. That's all great. And then I'll get booked for like a dinner and dance or a Miller. And I was like, why is no one booking me for a concert? And why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Because I know I can deliver just as, you know, I can deliver a performance that's just as strong, but there is no platform here really for UK artists, UK Asian artists to showcase their talent on that level. With the level of, you know, when you go to a concert, it's not just the artist that's there singing. You look at the lighting and the screens and the effects and the production, the marketing. They're on TV, they're on radio all the time, and they're promoting this thing. And I was like, I want that.
Yeah.
And I looked around and no one was offering it. I was like, okay, I need to produce this myself.
Well done.
I need to create this myself.
Yeah.
And it's the scariest thing I've done. And it'd been in my head for so long, Veena, but I went to this event, which literally changed my life. So I don't know, have you heard of a guy called Tony Robbins?
Yes.
You have. That's
have.
A big smile there. You're
going to talk about UPW.
I'm going to talk about UPW. So Tony Robbins was introduced to me by my father, who had like bought a lot of his books. And my dad was in like project management and stuff. So he was really into self-help and self-improvement. And he was always like, this guy talks so much sense. He used to buy the audio books. And the actual books, you know, like Awakening the Giant Within, Unleash the Power, and
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, all that stuff, like Kiyosaki and whatnot. And so I'd always just read the stuff, but it was actually my wife, Jasmine, who bought tickets to UPW.
Oh wow!
Because she was just like, well, okay, you've read all that, you've done all that, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And so she bought all of us tickets, and we went, and it was just like, I was like, wow. I was holding on to all this stuff that I made up in my mind somehow. Like let's take the concerts for example. So with the live show, it was like, okay, who is going to come and see me perform live? Why are they going to want to come and see me perform live? I'm making music, like, you know, I've got songs out, but I'm not a Sonu Nigam or my voice isn't being used on Shah Rukh Khan or anything like that. I'm just doing my own thing in this micro space which is here.
Yeah.
That's how it feels, because you always like, you don't feel your life changing, you don't feel the impact of what you do really what it does to other people. So you're just still in the same space, still in your same headspace, still in your same mindset. And I was like, well, someone can go and see me for free at a Miller. Someone can pay £20 and have dinner and see me at dinner and dance. Why is someone going to pay £50 to come and see me live in concert? And that really held me back. And I looked at, okay, well, how much does it cost? You've got to hire the venue, you've got to hire all the production, the lights, this, that, and the other. Everything has to be paid for. I need a massive team on this.
And then the tickets have to sell.
And the tickets have to sell. How am I going to promote this thing? Like, what TV company is going to, you know, like, so there's all these doubts, and all of this stuff is in my, like, what if it doesn't go well? What if it, and it hasn't even happened yet, but you become a prisoner of your own mind, because you tie yourself down, you tie yourself in knots over all these beliefs,
stories you tell yourself.
Yeah. And these beliefs just limit you, like, from actually really achieving your potential. And so when I went to Unleash the Power Within, which is an event that Tony Robbins runs, all of a sudden I broke through all of that. Like, I had my breakthrough, because that's what he does. He, you know, his whole thing is about getting people to unleash the power that's within them, because life and the world, you know, kind of happens, and you just put all these chains on you that you don't need. And, you know, did the firewalk thing where you walk across burning hot coals barefoot, which I know is something that you you really advocate.
I will tell you more about that.
Yeah. So when I did that, I was like, okay, I can do anything now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and do it. And I remember him saying, take one action today before you leave that takes you further to you know, towards your goal. And so I left there. I called up a few theatres, got the prices, and I was like, I'm just gonna put the deposit down now. Let's just get it done.
You did it that day?
I just did it that day.
Okay.
I put a stake in the ground because, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew within 6 months I would be doing my own concert.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because you made the commitment.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, that's happened now. Now I have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that once you put your mind to something, you set out on a journey, how the universe really does help.
You've got to take the first step.
You've got to take the first step. You've got to put it out there. And it's an energy thing, I believe. So yeah, I put this concert together and we had an amazing team. Sony TV backed the show, the local radio stations, they all backed and supported the show.
And was you thinking, who's going to come forward?
I was thinking like, how's this going to happen? And, you know, and we sold out in 3 weeks.
Wow.
That was my first show at Beck Theatre in Hayes.
Yeah.
Just around the corner from here. And I was like, wow, all these people they really wanted to come and see this show.
Yeah.
And the show was insane because it wasn't just me singing. We had a team of dancers. We'd synced visuals to what was happening. You know, it was a vision that I had in my head, but I couldn't execute anyway because no one would give me that opportunity to do it. And, you know, I had some like the production value, the lighting, all of that stuff. It was just magical. And I just remember leaving that night feeling exhausted, but so filled up and happy inside. And it was a real home team effort. Like my dad was running on and off stage, like bringing the mic stand on and bringing the stool on and stuff. And every time, and when he would come on, I'd be like, that's my dad. And then so when he would come on, the crowd would cheer louder for him than they would for me. I was like, I'm singing my ass off here, and you guys are like, It was so beautiful. You know, mum was taking care of all the catering. My wife was running around doing interviews with everyone. And, you know, like my sister was making sure that people were sat in the right place. And so it became a real family effort. Yeah. But when you put your mind to something, when you start something, what you attract is phenomenal. All these volunteers, all these people that just like my music, they were just like, we just want to help. Can we come and just be part of the crew? We can help with this. We can make sure we can clean stuff, make sure, you know, people are in the right places. And you'll be surprised how much you can, you know, when you don't have the big boys behind you and the big bucks behind you, you don't have the resources, you start to get really resourceful.
You do.
And when you're resourceful, like, it's amazing how much you can do. A little goes a long way if you have the heart and the passion to do it. That's what I believe.
So Tony Robbins changed your life?
Tony Robbins did change my life. And I would like to say, I feel like everyone should go and experience this at least once in their lives. It's not cheap, but it is so worth it. You know, sometimes you have to invest in yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I did that in 2006.
Did you?
Yes.
How was that for you?
I don't think I got the full benefit straight away. I was in my 30s and I don't think I totally understood what I was learning.
Okay.
And then when I turned 50, I feel like I remembered it all.
All right. Okay.
And then at the age of 50, I thought, I want to do another firewalk.
Hang on a second. Wait, you said you turned 50?
Yes. So
Are you serious?
I'm 53 now.
Wow.
So at 50, I had this thing. I want to do another firewalk.
I need to know what makeup it is that you use, Makeup by Vina, because that is some magic.
Well, you can come to my beauty clinic,
stuff
just
there.
down the road.
Okay, I'm after this, we're going to your beauty clinic.
Yeah, we're booking you in. So yeah, I was like, so I didn't want to go and do UPW again.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something different. I just got on Google and I found a company and I was like, I just want to do a firewalk. And they were like, yeah, fine. They were in Peterborough.
Okay.
So I went up and I did the firewalk again. I took my whole team with me.
Why?
As well.
What made you want to do the firewalk?
I just wanted to. I remember doing it the first time and I was really scared.
Yeah.
Like I literally stood at the front. I was like, I don't want to do this, and I was trying to find a way of getting out of it. But they find you, don't they? They don't let you go.
Yeah.
So I remember doing it, and I got.
Well, so you were really scared.
I was.
So you must have had
scared.
loads of things that were holding you back. Thinking,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah. I
got
engaged
beliefs.
at 16, married at 19. Like life
really,
just
wow,
happened to me.
That's really quick. Yeah.
And then I went on this, and I was really out of my comfort zone. Like seriously out of my comfort zone. You know, I was that girl who was very traditional and making roti and all of that. So for me to be at this event with so many people, and I got paired up with this guy I remember from Sweden. I don't actually remember his name, but he got paired me and he went first and he was on the other end and he was like saying to me, "Come on, Vina," and I was like, I don't want to do this, but I did it. And then I was like, I want to experience it again where I'm not that scared. I'm older now, I can do this. So anyway, I did this firewalk and I remember the company said to me, "Do you want to become an instructor?" And I was like, why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
I was like, no, not really. Anyway, I went. And then something happened in my life where I started doing things. It was a bit of a pivotal moment in my life. And I was like, I went back to them. I said, yeah, I do want to do the course. 5 days of my life. I felt like I was in the army because it was intense. 9 a.m. till midnight every day for 5 days. I was one of 17. I was with all these strangers. And I did 108 firewalks in a row.
Wow.
To become an instructor.
Wait, you did them?
I did them. You have to.
Have you got like scars on the bottom of your feet?
I did at that time.
Okay.
But it heals.
Yeah.
You learn to build the fire. So I had to learn how to build the fire. Where's the wind coming from? Where do you place the
Yeah.
logs?
It's because it's really controlled. It has to be
controlled. It has to be very
controlled.
I'm also an instructor for glass walking. Breaking boards and bricks.
No way.
Yeah.
Glass walking.
Glass walking. We'll get you to do that one day, Navin. Maybe on stage one day.
I feel like I can do anything. At this point,
yeah,
I feel like I can do anything I put my mind to, which is really crazy because before that would not have been possible. And it sounds scary you saying that, walking on glass, because you're just like, well, I'm going to cut myself. That's impossible. I'm going to, I've got soft skin under my feet anyway. I get blisters just by walking like down the road. So what chance have I got?
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. I'm in that space where it's like, I can do it.
And you know what? Things happen in life and we suddenly, that's it. It's that moment.
I think being a founder is a lot about being a founder is showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up to stuff where you could be sat at home chilling, watching whatever, or just you got an excuse. I have to do this with the family. I have to do that. But when you show up for something, that's the first step that everyone needs to take, and being a founder is about taking control of your life.
So what do you do when you're just having a shit day and you don't want to show up? Do you have a mantra? Do you have something that you use to push yourself?
That's a good question. No one's asked me that before.
When Navin's having a bad day,
when I'm having a bad day, I do a lot of riyaz. And riyaz is basically practice for my vocals because when I was like my mentor, Pandit Dineshji, who's like my Guruji, he gave me this piece of advice. He said to me, look after your art will look after you.
Okay.
And I was like, that sounds, not sure I understand that, but that sounds good. And now I really get it because there was no effort on my part to have a sense of music. It's just something I was born with, having a sense of rhythm, having a sense of knowing a bit about pitch, staying in time, picking up song lyrics. I didn't have to work at any of those things. They were just naturally, and I think everyone is born with a natural thing that they're good at. And it's usually something artistic, but it takes a bit of time to figure out what that is, And so I can't take credit for being gifted in that way. That's just something that's been given to me by, by a higher power. But looking after your art and your art will look after you means it's my responsibility to develop that, to look after it, to nurture it, to instill the amount of discipline that I need to keep it at its best. And then if I've been given this gift, I must have been given it to give it to someone, to do something with it, to make a difference.
Absolutely.
So that's my riyaz is basically me just holding notes in a certain key, in a certain scale, really, really simple. Sometimes it's Om. My Guruji, Pandit Dineshi, made me do this thing, which is Om Shri Anant Hari Narayani. And I would just do that, and I can hold that for hours and hours and just stay on one note. And that is a form of meditation. It's a form of bringing you back to your center when you feel like everything is getting on top of you. It's a way of quietening all the voices in your mind and the voices around you that tell you the things that are not good for you to hear. You can't do this, can't be bothered, don't do this, this isn't going to work.
The negative chatter.
The negative, like it's just a way of staying focused. So the things that I do, I will go and do riyaz. I will try to spend time with my family. Because like I'm married now and I have this whole different life, but I always find that my family is a great grounding space. And I appreciate that for a lot of people, sometimes family isn't. Sometimes family can be a bit difficult, can be a tricky space. And I understand that. And in that area, then it's always good to connect with people that do give that energy. It might be friends, it might be someone you don't even know, it might be a therapist or whatever, but I feel like connection really helps. And then there's what you say to yourself as well. And that's your inner voice is the single most powerful thing.
Self-talk.
Your self-talk, like the way you talk to yourself. Oh, Navin, you idiot. Why? Of course you were gonna screw it up like that. It's like, if I spoke to other people like the way I'm talking to myself, like there'd be no one around. So and then I started talking to myself in a different, nicer, kinder, gentler, and because you've got yourself for the rest of your life. Other people are going to come and go. You don't know how long they're here for, but you're with yourself. This is it, right? I really believe in finding a good love language to speak with yourself and learning to just have this respect for yourself. And that's it. And then remembering why I do what I do. I'm there to make a difference in people's lives, a positive difference.
Yeah.
How can I waste this one day that I've been given that might be my last, doing nothing? It's time to get up and show up and go. That's how you get through a bad day.
On that note, do you want to play a song?
Should I play a song?
Yes, you said you're going to show up.
I said I was going to show up.
I
showed up with my guitar.
Yes, hear you.
Even though my wrist is broken, my voice is tired, Vina.
But we're going to do this.
We're going to show up.
You're going to show up.
We're going to show up. Right. All that big talk and all of a sudden, ha, ha, ha.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I did speak a lot about showing up, and I wrote this song because a big part of showing up, the sacrifice you make is not being able to, you don't have all the time in the world to spend with the people that you love the most. And I wrote this song because I want to tell them, I might be away from you, I might not be around, but I'm doing it all for you at the end of the day.
Beautiful.
That's why it's called Tere Liye. Tere liye, oh tere liye. देखूं तो कुछ खोया सा लगे, इन होठों पे ये हंसी झूठी लगे, तेरी इन बातों में कुछ छुपा लगे, तेरी अदाएं भी अलग सी लगे, प्यार के समुंदर में तू किन लहरों में कोई तुमको नहीं है पता तेरे लिए दुनिया भूल जाऊं तेरे लिए मेरी जान तेरे लिए सारे दिन सारी रातें तेरे लिए आसमां जो लम्हे साथ बिताए वो प्यार का समा जो सपने हमने देखे उनका हुआ क्या इस आग में ना जाने क्यों हम जल रहे कब से अंधेरों में हम यूं ही रहे क्या बात है जो तेरा साया भी रूठा लगे इतनी है क्यों दूरियां तेरे लिए दुनिया भूल जाऊं तेरे लिए मेरी जान तेरे लिए सारे दिन सारी रातें तेरे लिए आसमां तू ही मेरी जान में तू ही मेरा मान तेरे उत्हायों मेरा दिल कुर्बान तू ही मेरी जान में तू ही मेरा मान तेरे उत्हायों मेरा दिल कुर्बान तेरे लिए दुनिया भूल जाऊं तेरे लिए मेरी जान तेरे लिए सारे दिन सारी रातें तेरे लिए
Brilliant, brilliant. Considering you said your wrist is hurting, you're not feeling great. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I also know that you played a lead role. Frankie Goes to Bollywood.
Yes.
What influenced your decision to take that on?
Well, that was a lot of fun. I've always been fascinated by the world of musical theatre. I find it amazing that you have these actors that do the same thing day in, day out. And like a movie is recorded, it's edited, it's done. One time, like however many takes it took to get that shot, it's done. You go and watch it whenever you want.
Yeah.
In musical theatre, it's all live. It's all done. And I was like, that must take a certain level of stamina and discipline. And it takes something else to be able to do that time after time. And I wanted to learn that skill.
Right.
And so I was really lucky that a friend of mine in the industry, Amit Chana, who's an actor and just a great guy. He's one of the creative directors and associate directors at Rifco Theatre Company. He had kind of mentioned me to Pravish Kumar, who is the director, the writer of this amazing script called Frankie Goes to Bollywood, which firstly I love the name, because I thought that was a really cool name.
I did actually watch you there.
Did you?
Yeah, we came to watch it.
Okay, well, how was it?
It was really good.
Okay, good.
I first saw you at a dinner and dance.
Yeah.
And then I noticed you were going to be at Frankie Goes to Bollywood, and I was like, I remember him. So yeah, we watched you, and it's amazing. So yeah, tell me, every night you're doing the same
every
thing.
night. And that's why I took it on, because I was like, I want to develop. I'm just always curious, and I always want to learn something new. Like I'm just that guy. I just want to. I don't feel like we should ever stop learning. I think there's so much to take in.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'd seen a few musical theatre shows. I was like, okay, so that's really hard to do, like just one time. How are you doing this every night, every day, sometimes twice a day?
Yeah.
And you got to bring the same energy to the, like, it's just insane. And Luckily, Amit Chana got in touch with me, told the director, there's this guy, I think he'd be perfect for this role. And I played Prem Kapoor, which firstly, I just loved the name. Prem Kapoor. I was like, yes, I am love. So this is perfect for me. And what an amazing experience. Like, I learned so much. It's like being fast-tracked through drama school, musical theatre school. That's what it was like for me. Because everyone else that was cast, they were all like professional. I think the most amazing thing about that experience was learning from people who are younger than me. I would highly recommend it to anyone because we have this like preconception that you learn from people that are older than you. You're always taught something from someone who's got a bit more wisdom. If they're older, they're supposed to be wiser. They've got something to teach you. And here I was, like, I wasn't the oldest in the cast, but I was like, like a bit older than the majority of the cast. Well, young in their 20-somethings, 30, early 30s or whatever. But so talented, fresh out of drama school, fresh out of musical theatre school. They know all the techniques. All of a sudden, I'm having to learn how not to sing from up here, but down my stomach. I've got to create the stamina to be able to do. We performed 101 shows back to back.
Oh my God.
That was the tour. Across the country, 101 shows. I've never done anything like it before. And it costs you something. Like, it takes its toll on your voice, on your body, on your physicality. So the level of stamina that I now have, the level of discipline that I now have, it was just learning. And I would sit with the cast every day and just pick their brains and ask them about this and ask them about that. And they were like, I remember one of the lads, he was like, we should be asking you about stuff because, like, you're the pop star here. Like, when we do the show, everyone wants photos with you after the show finishes. Like, everyone comes and they rush up to you. So like we should be asking, and you're here asking us about this stuff. But I'm just curious. Like, I was like, what does it mean? How do you sing from your stomach? Like, if I've got a sore throat, how do we get through that? How do you, it was amazing. I feel like I used my body and my mind and my soul it was stretched in every which way it could be. What an experience. I was exhausted by the end of it.
I can imagine. 101.
But it was so rewarding. And it's also amazing that every night you've got a new audience in front of you and it's packed. And you have to create the same energy. You've got to snap yourself into a state of mind, which is, I'm this character now. I'm not Navin Kundra. Don't need to worry about looking how Navin Kundra looks. I got to look like this character now. I'm playing someone completely different. And
how do you snap yourself into that state?
It's just an actor now, I guess. And I'm so glad that I can actually say that, I'm an actor now. I can do that. But it's again, it's technique, it's a mindset, it's a skill that you learn. That's why I wanted to do it. I wanted to learn how to do that. Like, every time before I go on stage as myself, like forget the musical for a minute. When I go on stage, there's this thing, in UPW is like, make your move. You make a move and you've hardwired yourself to become this thing. The intro that you read out just before this is an introduction that's often read out for me before I go out on stage. So I spend most of my life being Navin. In normal life, and then all of a sudden you become Navin Kundra, and it's crazy. I had this conversation with someone else the other day, and I was like, it's bizarre because sometimes you feel like adrenaline or whatever it is, something else takes over, and you can then go out, like, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise now. You hear the crowd roar and you go out and just like, Navin Kundra's shown up. And other times it doesn't happen, and you're like, Navin Kundra's not here. Like, I've got to go out and do this on my own right now. I've got to figure this out. And then you go out there, show up anyway, take those first steps, get out there, and then it happens. It all comes from within. And like, you can hardwire yourself, you can hardwire your brain to kind of snap into a certain state. That's how you get that's how you get through some and it happens automatically. Like, we have a fight or flight response to something. If something crazy happens there, you're just on, you're switched on, no matter how tired you are, no matter what state you're in. It's the same. And through the musical, I learnt a lot of techniques as an actor, but also as a singer, which I would now like to pass on to new upcoming talent. And so I'm in the process of creating a vocal coaching course, which I think is going to really help people, because that's the one thing that a lot of people ask me about is, how can I improve my voice? Do you teach? And I wish I had the time to teach. I wish I had the time to you know, to kind of give people that level of, the same level that I would require from any teacher, you know, that level of dedication. But I have learned a certain amount now, which I feel like ready to pass on. And I'm going to do that in the form of a vocal course and an entertainment training course as well. So if you're interested in that, and this is like, wow, this sounds interesting, navinkundra.com is where the information will be released. I'll plaster it all over my socials as well. But yeah, you should check that out.
This is you giving back now, isn't it?
I just feel like I'm all of a sudden in a position where I can now. Because before you're like, well, I'm still learning, and I'm just like, I'm always going to still be learning, but you have that imposter syndrome, right? Where you're like, nah, what can I give to? And now, having spent all this time with all these amazing people, having had these experiences, I'm like, yeah, I think I can give you something.
Love that. So you recently turned 40.
There we go. That's why I feel like I can give back now.
And age is seen as quite a thing in the entertainment industry. Sorry, well, you know, I'm a lot older than you, so take it. How has it been for you? Like that 40, you know, when you suddenly tick the next box in your doctor's forms and everything.
It's mad. It's mad. I'm like, now I can't even apply to be on X Factor or Idol or whatever it is. Like, you know, yeah. Do you know what? I didn't realize it would affect me as much as it did, because the night before I turned 40 was terrible. I was all over the place. I was just really sad and really reflective. I was like, have I done enough? Like I used to laugh at other people that were 40. We would be like, send these cards over the hill, you know, this, that, and the other, whatever. It's like,
and now you're there.
And now I'm there, and I'm like, am I where I should be? Am I where I want to be? And the answer to all those things was like, no, because I want to be so much further. I think everyone wants more than they've got. Yeah. And I was thinking, God, like, you know, like physically, this is it now. It's going to start deteriorating from here on. And I'm going to slow down. I've got just as many years behind me as I have in front of me. For the first time in my life, I'm thinking, wow. So the night before I turned 40, I don't know if anyone can relate, but that was really difficult for me. And then it happened. It was like, it was just another day. And it's nice because everyone celebrates. But something did happen in me that gave me a bit more of a sense of urgency to do the things that I want to do. So it's almost like a kick up the backside. It's like, okay, well, you know, now's the time to really look after your health. Now's the time to really laser focus on your goals and the stuff that you want to achieve. And as you're getting older, everyone around you is also getting older as well. So you've got to, you know, I really try and prioritize spending time with the people I love as much as possible, because I've sacrificed a lot of that getting to where I've got to with music and with any career. Like, there's a price to pay for everything, right? And so, but you can correct it, you can balance it out over time. And so I'm in that space now where I really want to, like I said, I want to give back to people. I want to be able to help a new wave of talent come through and give them tools that I didn't have access to or didn't know about. So I set up the concert production company as well. Okay. Like, now artists that I can help develop, and, you know, we've got a studio space where they can come in and write songs and record them.
Oh, wow. Where's that?
That's based in Ealing. Okay. And it's where I record my music now. So my manager just has spent like the last 3-4 years like just developing this space, creating studios, building this space where we can bring new talent in. And again, anyone that's interested in doing that, in navinkundra.com, just get in touch. Get on my socials as well. It's Navin Kundra, wherever it is, Instagram, whatever. Just follow me, reach out to me. Like, I do manage my stuff myself, so I will check it out and I will come back to you. I know how difficult it is, and if I can help you in any way, I absolutely will. So yeah, it's now this space where I can give back to people, and also the fans, the people that have really supported my journey, that like, I am here because of them. every artist is nothing without an audience that appreciates what they do.
Absolutely.
And so I created this whole fan experience called the VIP fan experience, where people basically, like, you know, you pay like an annual or a monthly subscription, where fans can just come that little bit closer and deeper into my world. So I show them all the stuff, my studio sessions. They get to see me behind the scenes. They get to hear new music before anyone else. So my new single, which has just come out, they heard like 2 months ago. They would have heard working demos of it. We jump on, we do monthly video chats on Zoom. So we all come on like it's one-to-one. It's a really beautiful experience. And again, if you're interested, navinkundra.com, check out the VIP and come and join it, because what goes on in the VIP stays in the VIP.
Wow, I love that. So much going on. So turning 40 didn't stop you.
Not at all. Not at all. It's just made me
more focused.
More focused, more responsible, and I still have the same hunger and drive as if someone is making their first record. That's how I feel. And I don't know it's right or wrong, but it's just how I am. Just how I feel.
Love that. Well, looking forward to your next Voice of Legends.
Yes,
coming up.
Thank you.
Is that towards the end of the year?
That'll be towards the end of the year. The new single is out now. It's a song called Naja, which I'm really, really excited about. And I hope people give it all their love as much as they have done all my previous work as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming, Navin.
Thank you, Veena.
It's been a pleasure.
I have so much more I want to ask you, but I feel like we could just go on for like 3 hours. Maybe I have to set up a podcast.
Coming soon, Navin's podcast.
Let's do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.